Hi, welcome to our session on getting started with Governance.Business. In this session, we will show you how to log in and log out from the solution, the different navigation aspects within the solution, the concept of my workspace where you can see everything that you have, every action that you have to do in the solution, uh, participation in processes, the different tasks assigned to you, the different surveys that you have to answer, absences that you need to approve, or timesheets that you need to approve. So basically, one unique place where you can see a summarized view of everything that you need to accomplish. Also, the concept of our service catalog, where you can navigate and see the several items that you can consume in the solution, the search capabilities, the user preferences for your profile, the possibility to impersonate other users. So we will see all of that in this session. So let's get started. To log in into the solution, once you put the URL of the solution, you'll end up in a login screen like this, where you have to put in your username and password to enter in the solution. Once you enter in the solution, you are automatically presented with a dashboard with relevant information for your role. Basically, a dashboard that is composed of several views that can be graphical, tabular views. So, a page that represents useful information for your role. On the other side, you have a navigation on your left, which is the main menu of the solution. In here, you can navigate through several aspects within the solution, so the different dashboard pages, published or personal pages, iterate through all of them, or my workspace where you can see all the actions, everything that you can accomplish in the solution, or go to the service catalog, or any other of the options that you have available depending on your accesses or depending on your role. Additionally, on top, you have the information on the different breadcrumbs, okay, or of where you are currently in the solution. Additionally, a global search that allows you to search information in different processes or within documents. So overall, in the solution, it allows you to search several things inside the inside governance.business. On the other side, you have the concept of bookmarks, where you can easily bookmark a page, like you were in your browser and bookmarking a certain page. So here you can bookmark several pages in Governance.Business in order to easily navigate to each of them. On the other side, we have here a message board, which allows you to see all the messages that are currently pending for you. So essentially notifications in different processes through the message center or any other alerts that we might want to show the user. And then also on top, you have the possibility to basically access all the user preferences, the impersonation, and also logging out from the solution. So let's get to another concept, essentially the concept of my workspace. My workspace allows you to understand all the processes that you currently have pending an action from you, which basically we have here for this user 285 processes that require an action from this user. So if we press on it, we are presented with a page which basically highlights all the different processes and the number for each of them that are pending for an action from our user. Okay. Additionally, you can also filter that out by status or any other filters that you might want to apply. You can see the full list of all the processes here in this list, and you can easily navigate to each of them and take quick actions. So that is done by basically selecting one of the rows and then enabling this quick edit. which allows you to quick edit and quick view the full information on this process so we can basically take an action on it. Okay, so in this case, the testing project lifetime plan, so we can iterate through each of them, and basically this is going to be reloaded with all the information related to that process. And in here you can already change fields or take any actions based on the workflow that is set up for each of them. Additionally, if we go back to our My Workspace, we also have My Tasks, which basically summarizes all the tasks that are currently assigned to you and that you need to complete them. Tasks that can be work plan tasks or any other type of task that I'm working on, where I need to basically enter in that task, do the work, and complete the task. So essentially, we could easily go inside one of these tasks, see all the information on the task itself. Okay, so all the different things within the task, documentation, the message center, task details, and you can complete that task easily by pressing the complete and filling in some of the details related to that task. On the other side, we have the possibility of having my calendar with different events that you schedule on that calendar, either by synchronization with other solutions like Outlook or Microsoft Teams or any other solution out there. Okay, you can synchronize that those events with those tools. In this case, you can also schedule events in the calendar easily just by drag and dropping and then selecting what type of event you want to schedule. Basically, the calendar will show you all the events that you currently have and also eventually tasks if you want to show tasks on that calendar. Then we have the concept of my drafts. So basically, when you start the creation of a certain object, you can always start it in a draft mode, which allows you to work on the content, work on the information, and only after you have completed all the information, then you can submit it so others can see that object. So all drafts that you have created appear here in my drafts. The same thing in terms of my items, which allows you to quickly understand all the items that you have created yourself in the solution and understand their status, understand their details, independently if you are or not an actor within the workflow or within the entire process. Also, my surveys allows you to see the list of all the surveys that are pending your response based on the surveys that are submitted to you. You can then see each of the surveys here and take an action on that survey. So basically answer the survey, okay, in order to complete it. Then the concept of timesheets, which allows you to access all the timesheets that you have for your user, understanding the timesheets that are pending an action on you, either because they were rejected or you need to rework them, okay, or basically access all the timesheets that aren't created yet and that you can create right now. Okay, so essentially you access all of that list. The same thing for delegated timesheets. So for users that delegated their possibility of submitting a timesheet to you, okay, so you can fill in that timesheet for them, or even timesheets for approval. So timesheets that are pending your approval in the system, so they get closed and all the information gets then held up for the different processes. And then the last option is basically the absences, the possibility for you to schedule absences in the solution, and then which then go through an approval process. Okay, so they get approved within the solution, and then you have the full calendar of all with all your absences, all your capacity, so you can have a full understanding of everything and the days off that you have, holidays, and so on. Then another functionality is the service catalog, which basically is a place that you will use in order to quickly go to the creation of a certain entity, a certain process in the solution. So the service catalog has several categories, and depending on the role, can have more or less. Okay, in this case, we have all of these categories available for for this user. And in this case, you can easily just click on one of the categories in order to initiate a creation, for example, in this case of an invoice, just by clicking on it. And then you will initiate this process by putting in all the information and then being able to push it forward so you can initiate the workflow and all the other actors and the responsibles within that process. Okay, so you can easily navigate to each of the categories and understand everything that is inside each of them. Then the other possibility is the search. So you can search information in the solution by several ways. You can either use this search here on top, which basically you enter a keyword and you are presented with different information based on that keyword, and you can then search inside, for example, either all the objects, all the processes in the solution, or within the documents, so you can search inside the documents themselves. This is one of the ways to quickly access any information. But you might be interested, of course, in searching in more detail, which is allowed by going into Open and then understanding if you want to select in Objects or in Tasks. Remi- uh, uh, Remember that for documents, you can always go to the document management, okay, and search for those documents, as you can see in the session around document management. In this case, searching for objects is quite easy. So if you go into this screen, you can then have the ability to select what type of object you want to search. So for example, let's say that I want to search an expense, and based on that object type, you are already presented with some information, but then you can configure what kind of filters you want to apply, what kind of information from that process you want to show in the screen. Also, apply any filters to any of the fields that are related to that expense. And then in this case, it will be basically you'll be uh, choosing the columns, the information, and filtering out what you want to see or not see within this search. So within that search, if you basically perform a search, you can always save it. So you can always save this search in order to easily access it later on and execute it with a click of a button. Additionally, the search can also be exported into Excel. All the data that is generated by the search can be also exported to Excel. The other component is really the part of the user preferences. So here we have in our user the possibility to configure a little bit our profile and eventually perform other actions, okay, for such as the impersonation part. So, but let's dive into the user preferences. So once you go into the user preferences, you are allowed to change your photo in the solution. So by easily selecting a photo from your PC and then configure it easily in the solution, change your email address, change also your landing page when you enter in the solution, or if you are using a local based authentication, you can also change the password of your authentication that you use to authenticate in Governance.Business. Then in the user preferences, you also have other things like the regional settings. So you can choose the language that you want the solution to be in for you, the currency, the base currency that you want to have. So when you see financial values, you'll see them in this base currency. And also in terms of numeric values, how do you apply the decimal places, the decimal separator, and the thousand separator. On the other side, Governance.Business supports the concept of delegation, okay, and then based on the delegations, the concept of impersonating other users. So the concept of a delegation is if I go on vacations or if I get sick and I need to be some days on leave, okay, I want to possibly delegate part of my work or all of my work to a set of persons. So in this case, I would easily set up a delegation in the solution just by choosing to which users I want to delegate my work. So for example, I want to delegate my work to Abraham Alvarez and then select two dates. So the starting date of when this delegation is enabled. So let's say that this delegation will start on the 10th of July and it will end on the 31st of December. And then you can choose whatever delegation you want to set up. Full delegation, which basically the user will have access to all the actions that I can perform in the solution. Per process, segmenting to make sure that the user can only take actions on certain processes. So, for example, projects, expenses, issues. So, anything related to that. Only participate in tasks or also only participating in timesheets. So, this basically allows you to segment a little bit the delegation information for each of the users. Basically, giving a complete delegation and then pressing done, you basically create then a delegation for a certain user, okay, in the solution. So you can go in after that date or between this start date and end date and perform the work for you. The other part is the notifications, which allows you to select and customize what kind of notifications you would like to receive. If you want to disable fully the notifications so you won't get any email from the tool, or if you want to disable only for certain actions. So you can fully configure everything here in this screen. And the other part is really the signatures, because Governance.Business allows you to create emails and send emails automatically um, from the message center. Then you can use within those emails, you can select the different signatures that you would like to apply. So the signature is always used as it is defined within this profile. So to create a signature is very easy. Basically click create, then give it a name, seeing if it's your default signature or not, and then the type of information for the signature. So it can contain images, can contain any type of highlighted text and so on. Okay, so you can then use this in the email. The last topic that we would like to cover is really the impersonation. So depending on the delegations that you have or that other users have delegated their work to you, then you will have the possibility to impersonate those users. So how do I impersonate a user? It's fairly easy. I can just go here to my picture and then I have a button here, an action of impersonate, and then a list of all the users that have delegated their work in me, okay, will appear. So in this case we see that Maureen Lee has delegated her work from the 17th of August forward to my user for everything. So in this case, I'm going to just click or select this person, hit done, and then I will be logged on as Maureen Lee. So I'm impersonating currently Maureen Lee. I will be able to see exactly all the information and how she sees the page or sees the solution with her user, and then I can take actions. I can go to my workspace based for Maureen Lee, see all the actions that are pending, taking actions, and so on. So bear in mind that everything that you do when you are impersonating another user will always be fully audited. So we always know, the solution always know that you have taken an action on behalf of that user. So this is basically the different things that we would like to get you started on the usage of Governance.Business, so you can understand how you navigate through the different options, how you can customize your preferences, and also how you can bookmark pages, how you can search information in the solution. So all of those aspects, so you can get going with the usage of Governance.Business.